Did you know that pornography does far more damage than most people realize? Many people think pornography only affects the mind or the body, but the truth is that pornography also affects something much deeper, your spiritual life. And for many people, the spiritual damage happens slowly and quietly until they suddenly realize something is wrong. In this video, we are going to talk about the hidden spiritual cost of pornography and why understanding this truth is the first step toward freedom. Pornography has become one of the most common struggles in modern culture. Because of smartphones and the internet, people can access explicit content almost anywhere and at any time. Sadly, many people, including Christians, struggle with pornography in secret. But while pornography is often treated as a private habit, the consequences are never truly private. Pornography affects your mind, your relationships, your emotions, and most importantly, your spiritual life. And if we ignore that spiritual impact, the struggle often grows stronger over time. Let's look at a few pointers and answer the question why. Number one, pornography slowly weakens your spiritual sensitivity. One of the hidden spiritual costs of pornography is that it slowly numbs your spiritual sensitivity. When someone first encounters pornography, there is usually a strong sense of discomfort or conviction. Something inside them say, this is wrong. But when that behavior continues, something begins to change. The conscience becomes quieter. The conviction becomes weaker. Over time, what once felt shocking begins to feel normal. This is one of the most dangerous aspects of sin. The Bible describes this process as the hardening of the heart. The more we ignore what we know is wrong, the easier it becomes to ignore it again. Eventually, many Eventually, people may reach a point where something that once troubled them deeply no longer affect them at all. Number two, pornography creates spiritual distance from God. Another hidden spiritual cost is that pornography often creates distance in a person's relationship with God. Many people who struggle with pornography begins to notice something happening in their spiritual life. They begin to feel uncomfortable praying. They avoid reading scriptures. They withdraw from spiritual convocation. Why does this happen? Because guilt often creates distance. Instead of turning toward God for help, people sometimes begin to withdraw from Him. But the tragedy is this: the very moment something feels most ashamed is the moment they need God's help the most. Yet, shame often convinces people to hide rather than seek healing. Number three, pornography changes how we see other people. Another spiritual cost is that pornography can change the way people view others. God designed human relationships to be built on respect, love, and dignity. But pornography trains the mind to see people totally different. Instead of seeing others as individuals with value and humility, pornography often reduces people to objects of pleasure. It shifts the perspective This shift in perspective can damage the person's ability to form relationships that are healthy. It can destroy expectations. It can weaken empathy, and it can make genuine emotional connection more difficult. In other words, pornography doesn't just affect behavior, it affects how we see other people. Point number 4: pornography creates spiritual bondage. Another hidden cost is that pornography often creates a cycle of spiritual bondage. Many people believe they can stop whenever they want, but over time they realize the habit has become harder to break. Why does this happen? Because pornography often operates like an addiction. The brain begins to associate certain images and experiences with pleasure and escape. Eventually, when someone feels stressed, lonely, bored, or discouraged, the mind begins seeking the same stimulation again. This creates a powerful cycle, a cycle of temptation, action, temporary relief, guilt, and then the cycle begins all over again. Breaking this cycle requires more than willpower. It requires honesty, accountability, and spiritual renewal. Point number 5: pornography robs you of your peace. Another hidden spiritual cost is the loss of inner peace. Many people who struggle with pornography describe the feeling of conflicted, discouraged, spiritually drained. Part of them want peace, but another part of them feel trapped in a pattern they cannot seem to escape. The result is often a deep sense of frustration. Instead of feeling spiritually strong, they feel spiritually exhausted. But the good news is that this struggle does not have to define your future. No matter how long someone has struggled with pornography, change is possible. Freedom begins with three important steps. Number one, it begins with honesty. Real change begins when someone stops pretending the problem doesn't exist. Secondly, renewing the mind. Freedom requires replacing destructive habits with healthier ones, including positive influences, meaningful relationships, and spiritual growth. Third, seek support. Many people try to overcome this struggle all alone, but lasting change often comes through accountability, mentorship, and spiritual guidance. The path of freedom is not always easy, but it is absolutely possible. Pornography promises pleasure, but the hidden cost is often spiritual emptiness, broken focus, and damaged relationships. The good news is that your future is not determined by your past struggles. With honesty, courage, and spiritual renewal, people can rebuild their lives and rediscover clarity, purpose, and peace. The journey toward freedom begins with a single step. Deciding your future is worth protecting. If this message helped you, consider sharing it with someone who may need encouragement. And if you want more videos about building a life of wisdom, character, and spiritual strength, subscribe to this channel. Your future is shaped by the choices you make today. So please choose wisely.